Friends, whenever question of death comes, we avoid. What is the general tendency in life? We avoid. And some kind of a fear, some kind of a horror, some kind of a grief pervades our mind, isn't it? It is, even though we all know that every one of us have to die someday. And the Gita says, whatever is born, whoever is born, will die someday. And yet the horror, the grief, and Gita goads us to think about it. Life is like a story. We create, we write our own stories, and every story has an end. Isn't it? In fact, in our culture, we take death as a teacher. I don't know how many of you have heard about the story of Nachiketa. There is a Vedic story wherein a teenage boy, Nachiketa, his father's name is Vajashrava. So Vajashrava, it seems, was doing a sacrifice, a yajna called Vishwajit Yajna. And as per the scriptural sanction, a person has to give away all his belongings in Vishwajit Yajna. Now this father, Nachiketa's father, Vajashrava, he is trying to give away his belongings. But he is somewhere a little clever, calculative, mechanical person. So he's become a little discretionary in giving away his things. Among the things that he is giving are old cows too, many of them. Now these cows have no life left in them. They are dilapidated. There is no possibility of these cows giving birth to offsprings. So therefore no possibility of any milk. And he was continuing with the ritual. Now this sensitive teenage boy called Nachiketa was observing his father busy with the ritual and do his things which seems strange to him. He became little angry, little perturbed. So he asked his father, "Oh father, to whom you are going to give me?" Now, a human life is not an object to give away. So his father keeps silent. Then again, ritual continues, and he again asks, "Oh father, whom you are going to give me?" When he asks the question for the third time, the father becomes angry. He says, "I'll give you to Yama." Taking this statement of the father as his order, his adesh, he goes to Yamaloka. Now don't ask me address. And I have been to Kailash Mansarovar, and there is a place called Yamadwar, which is also known as Darchan in their local language. Perhaps Lord Yama and Lord Shiva both are neighbors. Yamadwar. Yamadwar literally, or Yamadwar of understanding. Understanding the process, the phenomena of death, the reality of the death. Now, Nachiketa reaches Yamaloka, and there at the gate, the sentry stops Nachiketa. "Hey boy, where are you going? What's your purpose here?" To which Nachiketa says that, "I want to meet my Lord, Lord Yama. My father has given me to Lord Yama, so I have to see him, report to him." So sentry says, "You cannot enter this word with this body. No one can enter. And moreover, boss is not here. Boss has gone to Prithvi Lok to pick up some very important people." To which Nachiketa says, "Okay, no problem, I'll wait." And so he waits. He waits for 3 days. And nobody offers him food or water. Do you think somebody is going to offer you food or water at the gate of Lord Yama's mansion? Nobody. So he was not offered any food or gate. I don't know what was the protocol. But when Lord Yama returns from his journey, he sees this boy waiting for him him for past 3 days without having food or without having water. He gets a little sense of guilt. And then he asks, boy, see, look, you have patiently waited for me for 3 days. I understand your pain, your patience. And in compensation, I am offering you 3 boons. So please ask what you want. So Lord Nachiketa, the boy Nachiketa, as the first boon, asked Lord Yama to make his father happy again. He says, make my father happy again so that when I go back to my home, he's welcoming as usual. To which Lord Yama says, let that be, tathastu. In return to the second boon, he asked details of a certain ritual, a certain fire ritual, which in tradition is called Panchagni Vidya. Lord Yama obliges and elaborately tells him that ritual. Now when it comes to third boon, then he asks Lord Yama in these many words, Yeyam prete vichikitsa manushe asti iti eke nayam asti chaike. He says, sir, there is a doubt in my mind. People say that when a person dies, he still exists. And there are people who say when a person dies, the person ceases to be. Now you being the Lord of death, please tell me what is the reality. It is your department and I cannot find anyone better than you to tell me about this mystery. Now this question coming from a teenage boy perturbs Lord Yama. He is intrigued. Whether the boy knows the content of the question, whether he knows what kind of a competence it will take to comprehend the answer of this question. So he tries to dissuade Nachiketa. He says, Nachiketa, look, what you are asking, even the Devatas have struggled to understand. So you ask me something else. Ask long life, ask wealth, pleasures. I can give you anything. Leave this question aside. Now, Nachiketa is an intelligent boy. So Nachiketa says, now you offering me so many things in lieu of this question doubly assures me that this question is more valuable, the answer is more valuable than whatever you are offering. See, look at the intelligence of a person. And in life, we are chasing many things. And at the end of the day, everything is left behind. My guru says, not even a hair of a moustache you can take with you. Yes or no, so friends? So, he dissuades. But then looking at the commitment, the innocence, the intelligence of the boy, he becomes very pleased. And then he answers the inquiry, the question of the Nachiketa in a very elaborate manner, which spreads like 100 odd verses. And the whole body of text is known as Kathopanishad. In our Vedantic tradition, we have 10 Mukhya Upanishad, which are source of self-knowledge. So Kathopanishad is one of them, one of the Mukhya Upanishad. It is called Kathopanishad because it begins with a katha. Now with this short time we cannot have liberty to look at the text, at the verse, but briefly I'll use Bhagavad Gita to reflect. Together we can reflect. As I am reflecting for myself, and this reflection should reflect on you too. So let us together reflect as to what the death really is. Now, so think about, in science, most of us, I'm sure, studied science, and it's a very basic principle. Neither matter nor energy can be destroyed or created. It's a scientific principle. One cannot create an ounce of matter, neither can destroy it. Similar with the energy. We all know it. Experientially also. So when the matter, which is so gross, or energy cannot be destroyed, do you think a fine life, a subtle life can be destroyed? Just think about it. No. What happens to matter? When you destroy anything, it only changes its form. The matter transforms and life transmigrates. Yes, our connection with that life is broken, and that's a law. If that's a law, we have to bow down to the law and accept it. Live with it. Happily rather, because that's the law. I was just talking to Umaji and she said, I'm not in a mood today. She was so sad. Yeah, grief is very human, man. No, but the grief needs to be transformed to gratitude and love. Don't live with grief. Grief for a moment is fine. It's very human. It makes us human. But don't continue with the grief. Process it into gratitude, love, remembrance. Isn't it, friends? Yes or no? Like I said that, when the death happens, what really happens? Think about it. If I ask you how many, just use this occasion. And we are here to celebrate Venkateshwaluji's life, offer our Shraddhanjali and also to reflect. Who thinks the death will not happen to him? Here, just reflect. Raise your hand, anyone. Right? So spiritually speaking, one has to prepare for one's death, I'm telling you, sir. One has to prepare. One has to first accept and know. Only then one can prepare. What really dies? When the matter and energy cannot die, what happens there? The death happens to this physical body only. For the soul, this body, Gita says, is like a clothing. It's like a dress. As our old clothes, when worn out, we change with a new one. So too Bhagavad Gita says, the soul assumes a new body. Because the body is old and dilapidated. And Gita says, Vasanshi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grahannati naroparani tatha vihaya jirnani sharira anyani sanyati navani dehi. Now Mr. Trivedi has lovingly given you a Bhagavad Gita there, which is on your chair. Please pull out. Please pull out. And why don't you open verse 2.22 and chant with me? What a beautiful gift, what a thoughtful gift at this occasion. 2.22 and chant with me. And also feel the words. You know, these are words of Lord. Words of Lord, very reassuring. Okay, so Vashansi Jirnani. Please chant after me. Yatha Vihaya Namani Grahannati Naroparani Tatha Sharirani Vihaya Jirna Anyani Sanyati Navani Dehi. So as our, जैसे हम पुराने वस्त्रों को बदल के नए वस्त्र धारण करते हैं, वैसे ही व्यक्ति की आत्मा इस जर्जर शरीर को छोड़ के नया शरीर लेती है अपने कर्मानुसार. What is the reason for grief? We should give him a warm send off. We should pray, Lord, that whatever body he assumes, it is for the betterment, for his sadgati. That should be our thought process, isn't it? So let's repeat once more this verse. Vasansi jirnani yatha vihaya namani grahannati naroparani tatha sharirani vihaya jirna anyani sanyati namani dehi. Now deeply look at your body. Vedanta Shastra says our body has two levels basically. One is physical, the other is metaphysical. One is gross, the other is subtle. So every one of you has three bodies. One is called Sthula Shariram, Sukshma Shariram, and Karana Shariram. So there are three bodies in us. So one is sthul, gross, which you can feel, touch. Within this gross body, which enlivens the gross body, is subtle body of thought, feeling, mood. And within that body, which livens both of them, is called causal body, Karana Shariram. The body, that body is like a seed, which continues. So Karana Shariram, until it is processed, it continues. As long as the Karana continues, the body also, the life also continues, transmigrates. So now these three bodies are spread over 5 koshas called Pancha Kosha. Annamay, Pranamay, Manomay, Vijnanamay, Anandamay. So Annamay Kosha, which is made of food, is gross body. Then Pranamay, our breath body. Manomay, another body made of feeling, moods, phobias, fears. And within that there is a Vijnanamay Kosha, and a body made of beliefs, reasons, cognition. So put together forms a subtle body. Now behind that there is a causal body which is called Anandamaya Kosha, plus a heap of karmas are there, which ensures a person's rebirth. And Gita says, Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityuhu dhruvam janma mritasya ja tasmat apariharyarthe na kaschitum shochitum arhasi. Lord says ki whatever is born will die. Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityu. There is no exception. Dhruvam janma mritasya cha. And whatever is dead will again come back in another form. Tasmat apariharyarthe na tusm sochutum. Therefore there is no reason for you to grieve, Arjuna. So let us learn from Lord. Is there a reason for grief? If somebody continues, you don't see the person, but you can connect with the memory, with the gratitude, with the love, with the remembrance each day of your life. Why can't you? Now let the person go. Don't hold. Don't bind them with your grief. Now, as I said, the death happens to the physical body. And the soul is immortal. Soul is immortal. And we are all seekers of what? Immortality. Who wants to die? Nobody. We want to be immortal. Have you thought why we want to be immortal? Because actually the soul is immortal. So that desire manifests through the body. Body can't be immortal, but soul is immortal. So you have to think about that. So therefore get back your soul. I'm telling you. We have a soul feeling at the level of mind and feeling. That's it. We never look within. We never discover within. We never uncover us, unearth us. That's where the Bhagavad Gita, the guidance of Guru, etc. helps. That's where this kind of a satsang helps. At least it goes. Is it making sense to you, sir? Now, if I ask you, what is the fundamental search of a human being? What is the fundamental search of life? What are we seeking here? Just think about it, sir. Ananda. We are seeking happiness. And how this happiness is a byproduct, ma'am, by the way. We are seeking happiness, but happiness is a byproduct. We are seeking limitlessness, actually. Just think about that. As a human, we don't like any limitation. And death limits us. Our relationship also limits us. Our role in office also limits us. We are seeker of limitless, and we find that everywhere we are limited. The fact is, the Veda says you are limitless. Because soul is limitless. Just let me give you a clue. You can see the space in the room. This table is gross. The space is subtle. ये स्थूल है और ये आकाश सूक्ष्म है. जो भी चीज सूक्ष्म होती है वो all pervasive होती है. That's a law. Where is space? Where it is not. Wherever you go, even with the speed of light, if you go for thousands of years, you will find space there. Now this Atma is subtler than the space. Therefore the Atma is limitless. So when we are seeking limitless, we are seeking our own selves. सिर्फ अपनी तलाश है. And once you become limitless, the death doesn't limit you. It is a phenomena, it will happen. Life is not what happens to you. The fact is life happens in you, sir. But we think life happens to us. I say there is a space within you. If you discover, you will see that life happens in. So I think in the given time, this is what I wanted to speak briefly. The value here is like every prayer has a prasad. I'll be really happy while the family has arranged some prasad for you. As a secondary prasad, you take this value of knowing oneself. That is the way to immortality. That is way to happiness. That is way to cure grief. All kinds of it. I'll say a few lines of Rumi, a great mystic, Sufi mystic, Rumi, and then end. Rumi says, I died as mineral. Listen carefully. I died as mineral to wake up as a plant. I died as a plant to rise as animal. I died as animal to be a human. He says, why should I fear death when I don't become any less by dying? Why should I fear death when I don't become any less by dying? Oh Lord, let me die yet once more to be one with you, to be one like you, to merge with you.